Normal. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers discreet care to help men get back on track fast. Affordable plans start at $125 a month and no contract required. Take control today at yourgoodwood.com.
If you've been in an accident and the insurance company won't pay for your rental or the diminished value of your vehicle, you aren't alone. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 2620484, office in Baton Rouge.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. It means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Half that work week just about in the rear view mirror. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and we are fired up. You are here with us. Coming up in 30 minutes, it is What If Wednesday. If you've got a what if for me, we got some room for you. Send a text, 225-499-1045, and we will get that to the show. We'll talk with Dr. Jeremy Vernon-Boxner at the end of hour number one. Verge Ausberry sat down with Tyrann Mathieu and had an interesting comment on Will Wade that I want to play coming up at 2 o'clock. We'll get to a new feature that we're going to get into here with LSU football, my in-depth chart series. It's up at LouisianaSports.net for your reading pleasure. We're going to start it from an audio perspective coming up at 2:15. We got some Saints breakout candidates. ESPN.com came up with one. I got 4, so we'll talk about that at the bottom of hour number 2. But for the first 30 minutes of this radio program, which is a long time, we're going to go through LSU baseball's signee breakdown. We'll get to our opening drive here in a second, but just for the record, I'm doing this segment today and not on Friday when the draft starts because, quite honestly, we want to get it up on demand for y'all to be able to access it at another time before the draft actually happens. I've taken a lot of time to gather some information on this. It's something that is really, really impactful for the LSU draft and the LSU baseball program moving forward. So I want to give it a little bit of time to breathe before it's actually dated when the draft starts. So we'll do that right now with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
All right, Major League Baseball's draft is this weekend from the All-Star Game up in Philly. It'll be 2 days, and it's a huge, huge, huge turning point in the calendar for elite college baseball programs, and certainly LSU falls into that category, despite the fact that last year wasn't great. One of the reasons why last year may not have been so great, well, you had a 17-man signing class, and 8 of them were snatched up by Major League Baseball. It was something that Jay Johnson was not happy about. That's something he was very public and on the record about. And so he went about this signing class with an intent to insulate himself from that to an extent. He wants to get players in his program and keep them in his program for 3 years. That's the way he feels is best at LSU. And while that's not necessarily as realistic on the football and basketball fronts, those are just, football's got such a huge roster pool and so many guys are going to transfer out. You're just going to have to supplement. Basketball, it's just going to be volatile. If you have pros, they're going to go. If you got guys that don't play as much, they're going to go, and you really only need 6 or 7 guys. It can be a little bit volatile in that range. In baseball, especially at LSU or at Vanderbilt or at Florida or at Arkansas or A&M or Texas, you're a big dog, and you can get elite players, and you can keep them for a few years. You can keep Derek Curiel here. You can keep Cade Anderson here. You can keep your stalwarts in your program, Stephen Milam and Omar Cerna and Cade Arambidi and William Schmidt, Kason Evans. Like, that's what you want to build from, and then you supplement with Anthony Irons. And if Tommy Tanks becomes available, you jump on that. And they've done that this year as well. But he wants to get these guys in and keep them. Well, to do that, you're going to have to flirt with Major League Baseball. You're going to have to cheat up against that line and try to get guys that are fringe guys that are probably going to have to field a phone call worth $1.4 million and go, no, I'm not taking that. And that's what LSU is trying to do, and realizing that a lot of guys are going to jump for the 1.4, and some of the guys you sign that you get committed 2 years ago as high school sophomores are going to get $4 million and aren't going to come, you got to get a lot. And so instead of 17, LSU's at almost 24 in this class. And so they've insulated themselves that if we lose 8 this time, we've still got 14, 15 guys coming instead of 7 or 8. So that's what Jay Johnson has attempted to do with this class. It's a lengthy list, so it's going to take me 2 segments to get through, but we'll start with the 2 guys that LSU has gotten to pull out of the draft. Remember, you got Derek Curiel to do that. Omar Cerna did that last year. There are 2 that have done that this year for LSU. Braxton Beatty, a left-handed pitcher, and then Nate Davis, an outfielder. We've talked about both of those 2 guys, but you've gotten those 2 guys to pull out. So you've got a speedy outfielder in this class. It's a left-handed hitter and a really polished prospect. And you've got Braxton Beatty, an undersized left-handed pitcher with a low 90s fastball that's got a starter delivery, mechanics, and not necessarily a big risk as it was, but he's going to come to LSU. Let's start with kind of the top guys in this class that I don't think we're going to be talking about very long. Logan Schmidt is left-handed. He is 6'4". He throws 97, 98 miles an hour, and I don't really need to say a lot more than that. Logan Schmidt is probably going to be a first-round pick. The feeling around LSU with people I talk to, I don't think Logan Schmidt's going to be at LSU, okay? With the caveat of weird things happen, but I don't think he'll be at LSU. I think it's a reasonable thing to say. Malachi Washington is an outfielder from Georgia. The word that actually got tossed to me was Dylan Cruz. I take that very seriously and kind of push back a little bit, but he is a 6-foot outfielder with really, really good tools. He can really run. He can hit for power, and I think he's going to go in the first 2.5 rounds, and I don't think he will play at LSU. Anthony Murphy is another outfielder. He's from the other coast out west in Corona, California. Similar measurables, 6 feet, 6'1", 200 pounds, right-handed hitter, easy power, and pro teams are really on him. I don't think those 3 guys are going to make it to campus. It would be a surprise if they do. I don't slam the door on any of these guys. These are the least likely in my estimation. The first guy to get your ears to perk up on, and there are really 2 in this category, are Jensen Hirschkorn and Dominic Santarelli. Jensen Hirschkorn is 6'7" and throws 97 miles an hour. If he was left-handed, forget it. But he's right-handed. And that's really good. But he doesn't have an established second pitch. If you're a professional organization, you're going to look at Jensen Hirschkorn and go, the projectability is awesome, the velocity's already there. I got to teach him to spin it a little bit better. And if you're at LSU, you're like, well, if he's already throwing 97, I got a guy that's going to throw 99 miles an hour pretty quickly. I'll figure it out from there. And Jensen Hirschkorn is a guy who could be a first-round pick. And if he's a first-round pick, he'll go. But if he starts to slip into the late second round, this is one of those guys you could look at and say, do you want to take the 2.2? Great money. Do you want to take the 2.2 right there, guaranteed bird in the hand? Or do you want to come to LSU for 3 years and maybe make Cade Anderson money? Because Hirschkorn profiles like that. What do I think he's going to do? I think he's going to go to the draft. I think he's going to take $2 million to go. But it's not a done deal by any sort. So Jensen Hirschkorn is a name that you need to be paying attention to. And then Dominic Santarelli is a name that's being tossed around on the internet a good bit right now. He is the most powerful hitter in this class. He's a 6'3", 230-pound left-handed hitter who went to the scouting combine and was just crushing the ball. Now, this is a huge number for those that follow some of the metrics in baseball. And this is batting practice, so it's not like he's hitting off of, elite pitching. He's taking BP. But he averaged 110.9 miles an hour. He averaged 111 miles per hour at the MLB scouting combine, which is absurd. That was the best at the event. But he's not a great athlete. He's an average runner, and he doesn't have a true position. He's a first baseman. He's got outfield by his profile, but he's a first baseman. And 2 guys in LSU's recent past to go to the scouting combine and just blow up the exit velocity are Jared Jones and Mason Braun, who are average athletes that are big and strong, that can hit it hard. And he's kind of in that category. And when I saw the video from the scouting combine and I saw the numbers of him, he's 6'3", 230, and he's hitting an average of 110 miles an hour, I'm going, there's no way. When I started poking around, there is a way. I'm not telling you Dominic Santarelli is absolutely going to be at LSU, but it's possible. And this would be a guy that could push for playing time on this team. It's a crowded lineup, And he fits into a category that includes some big hitters. And Mason Braun would be in that category, and then Cernan and Aaron Beatty, whoever wasn't playing that day at DH, and the outfield's crowded, and he's not a great athlete, but he can hit. He is big and strong. Those are the guys to look at the highest end of this class. I don't think Schmidt's coming. I don't think Washington in the outfield is coming. I don't think Murphy is in the outfield is coming. And then you've got Jensen Hirschhorn, who's you've got a less than 50% chance, I think, and Dominic Santorelli, who may be a coin flip. Then there are two other guys I want to talk about in this segment because of their profile as two-way players. This is a new wave that I don't think is a Shohei Ohtani thing because college players have done this for a long time, but a lot of times in the last 20 years, it's been guys at smaller schools who could play the outfield and pitch out of the bullpen, who could play third base and pitch on Sunday. Because you don't have that many talented guys, and if you've got one guy who's really talented, he can do both, then you let him do it. But at Florida or LSU, they don't have to have that unless you're Jack Caglione. But we've seen a little bit of it resurging in time. And LSU is very open to two-way players. And there are two guys in this class that absolutely fit that. Will Adams is from Hoover, Alabama. The source that I had inside the program, one of them that I talked to Will Adams about, said, guy rakes. Just said he absolutely rakes. And it's the same thing I heard about Mason Braun last year. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, and he can really, really hit. However, he's also a left-handed pitcher that throws north of 93 miles an hour. He's 6'2", as I mentioned, and if he gets to Baton Rouge, I'm told he will absolutely do both. Absolutely. And there have been some talented guys that have gotten here. Skeens is chief among them, but they kind of figured out as January started that Skeens was going to be so good pitching, there was no need to put him out there to hit. And then in the first inning of the first game, Tommy White hurts his right shoulder diving back into first base, and you're thinking, am I going to put Skeens out there to run the bases? No. But there have been some guys that have come here with two-way potential, and they haven't really done it. Like Hasten Evans was a really good high school infielder. But Will Adams, I'm told, would absolutely do both if he got to LSU. Left-handed pitcher, first baseman, good hitter, interesting prospect, but he's a big-time draft risk. And then Lucas Noraki is an outfielder left-handed pitcher. He has been thought of as a pitcher for most of his high school projection into professional baseball. He throws 95. He's left-handed, and that's where people thought he would really be, but he kept hitting in high school. And then he went to the draft combine, and he was rocketing balls into the right field seat with a wooden bat. And he is a legitimate athlete that can play outfield. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, if this guy hits homers with a wooden bat in a pro stadium and throws 95 from the left side, like, what's the hook here? How could you get him back to LSU? And the way you do that, as I talked about yesterday, is usually that guy's got, and I use air quotes here, a flaw. In some cases, you're missing a vital tool. In some cases, your projectability is short based on one thing or another. And in this case, Noraki is not tall. He might not be 6 feet tall. I don't have a ruler and I'm not standing next to him, but based on the internet measurables, he might be 5'11". And at that point, with power and power stuff, all of a sudden pro scouts are thinking that's maybe not projectable to get a lot better. They like tall athletes. Alex Bregman got here because he's not tall and he broke his hand. 2 flaws. Stephen Milam got here and stayed here because he's not tall. Derek Curiel got here and stayed here because he was not filled out and wasn't hitting for power. If you've got, and I use air quotes here because these guys are all such good prospects. I don't mean to diminish their talents at all and for you to listen and go, well, he's not that good. But Lucas Noraki is maybe 5'11", and that's just not a pitching profile that a lot of teams are excited to throw $3 million at. So Will Adams and Louis Noraki are potential, and I'm told certain, two-way guys if they get to Baton Rouge, and there's a chance. I would say it's possible neither guy gets to campus. It's possible one or two do. So those are kind of the first guys that I want to look at the top of this class. Again, to put a bow on it, Logan Schmidt is going to be a first-round pick, I think, and not going to sign. I'd be stunned if Malachi Washington or Anthony Murphy got to campus. Jensen Hirschhorn is far less than a 50-50 split. And then you get into Dominic Santorelli, Will Adams, and Louis Snellrocky. If you can get 2 of those last 4, those are the headliners of your class. You can't get swept there. That's just a backbreaker. But if you can get 2 of those 4, you've really done something, either on the mound or in Santorelli's case with a super powerful bat. So you're just trying to fight them off to keep 2 guys in the camp. And that's kind of where you sit with the highest high end of this class. The next 2 spots I'm going to talk about in our next segment are infield and then right-handed pitching. And I think both are vital to this class. You're going to lose some, but there's some guys you got to keep around. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com. Lifetimeroofingla.com is the website. They are so fired up to be able to offer you a lifetime workmanship warranty. That includes the workmanship, obviously. It also includes the materials, which are backed by CertainTeed, one of the most trusted names in roofing. It is storm season. Right now, it's pretty quiet. I like that. You like that. It's been quiet for a few years, and we like that. But we know that's inevitably going to come to an end. If you'd like them to come out and do an inspection and make sure your roof is in good shape, they can. If you'd like them to come out and do a fortification, do a tune-up to make sure that roof is as ready as it can be for storm season, they can do that as well. It's not just call if you need a new roof. If you just want it checked out, call Lifetime Roofing, and if there's something that needs to be done, they can handle that for you. They're online at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station, home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Love telling my friends that Gotros Outdoor Power, Gotros Outdoor Power, online at gotrosonline.com. In July, they got incredible deals. It's grass cutting season, y'all. If you need a new zero turn, there's only one spot to go. It's Gotros Outdoor Power. 20% off MSRP for Hustler commercial mowers and 0% financing for 48 months is available. Go ahead and get by. They got 2 locations, Airline in Baton Rouge and in Gonzales. You cannot miss the Airline location. If you're driving by and you just see a mountain of orange Hustler inventory, that's it. They're the largest Hustler dealer in the state by far. They've got the largest parts inventory in the state, and they give you that personal touch that comes with a family-owned local business. You can buy a zero turn from the big old box store that has the massive parking lot, right? Or you could go with a local option that's going to help you service that for the life of the product. Are you ever going to hear from the big box store again? I can't promise you that. I can promise you'll hear from Gotros Outdoor Power. So go by and see them on Airline in Baton Rouge or in Gonzales, or visit them online at gotrosonline.com. All right, 2 spots where you're going to see a ton of fluctuation here is the infield and the right-handed pitching. LSU has had a nightmare trying to get infielders through the draft and then trying to keep them on campus. Some of these names you won't even remember because I talked about them for a week and then they went in the first, second, third round, signed, you never heard from him again. But like Mikey Romero went by first round to the Red Sox, and Tucker Toman was an early round pick. Quentin Young last year, Brady Ebel last year, Jaden Foskey last year. These are guys that were big-time infield prospects in those classes, and they didn't get to campus. And you've also signed guys like Mikey Ryan, Austin Rolig, Ethan Kloss, who have decided to leave the program. You just haven't been able to keep any infielders around. Stephen Milam stuck around, and then obviously Jack Ruckert is still here, but you've had to go get Danny Dickinson, you had to go get Tommy White, you had to go get Michael Braswell. You've just had trouble keeping infielders in the mix. And so now you've gone and gotten Cade Curlin and Dawson Park, but after this season, Stephen Milam, Cade Curlin, and Dawson Park are going to be gone. You need infielders, and they need to keep some around. And so these are 3 guys in this class that are infielders that LSU, I think, really needs to try to get 2 of them through this draft. Parker Lowe is the first one. He's the guy I think LSU would really like to get through the draft, and I think it's a possibility because Parker Lowe is only 6 feet tall, and he hits right-handed. Jay Johnson loves left-handed hitting infielders. Loves them. And so do pro baseball scouts. So it's really hard to get those guys through, because all your infielders throw right-handed, so to get them the ones that hit left-handed that can hit right-handed pitching, it's just a valuable asset. And Lowe is right-handed, so he won't fit that criteria for some of them. But I love his infield actions. He looks like such a smooth defender. He's a shortstop for sure, and a guy that is a reasonably draftable prospect. It just depends on what his number is if LSU can get him through the draft. Luke Tucker is another one. He is 6'4", and he is left-handed. However, he's pretty likely to get to school. He's taking summer classes right now, which doesn't matter. We know that over the years, like Zach Lee is the most famous one, but summer classes don't matter. That you can get on a private jet to go sign a contract from a summer class anytime you want. But he's got some real upside, but he's not a guy that starred on the showcase circuit. He's from north of Dallas. He's a guy that LSU could develop in the program. I think it's a good chance Luke Tucker gets through. And then Jordan Martinez, like Lowe, is from the Jacksonville area. He's really twitchy. He's got really big back speed. He's got a huge throwing arm. He could play third base. He can play shortstop. And LSU feels okay about getting Martinez to campus. You get all 3, awesome. If you lose 2 of the 3, like that's a pretty big bummer. If you get 2 of the 3, I think that's a thumbs up area. I think you've done a great job if you can get 2 of the 3. So I'll be watching infielders this weekend: Parker Lowe, Luke Tucker, and Jordan Martinez. And the next area is right-handed pitching. This is very volatile because right-handed pitchers from the high school ranks are like last on the totem pole for pro organizations. Why? Because they're a dime a dozen. Everybody's right-handed, and a lot of high schoolers throw 95 miles an hour, and you can find a lot of them. Also, high school kids are raw. They oftentimes just beat high school kids with fastballs. They're hard to scout from that perspective. How good is he going to spin a breaking ball? What's he going to do when he faces better pitching? That's why when you go to college, you get scouted a little better and you can dominate at that level. Great. But the high school level, just because you blew Live Oak away, what does that mean? I don't know. Those guys can't hit 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. Also, high schoolers have a longer shelf life to get hurt. Like pitchers get hurt. So high school right-handed pitching is like last on the totem pole. LSU has got 3, 4, 5, 6 in this class, outside of the ones I talked about at the top, that I think they would love to get 3 of the 6. If you could hit 50% on these guys, and a lot of them are similar, then you'd be awesome. Cooper Sides is probably the least likely of this group. He's 6'5", mid-90s fastball, razor-sharp slider. Like, people like Sides a lot, and he's very likely to get $2 or $3 million, and I don't think he'll get through, but he would be awesome if he did. Like, Chase Shores got through. You could see that. Cooper Sides would be fantastic. William Schmidt got through. Dylan Blomker is next. He's another 6'4" right-hander, throws 97. He's got kind of a shorter arm stroke than Sides, but they're similar in stature, similar in the prospect rankings, and probably similar risks. Split the difference would be awesome. I think there's a decent chance both guys bolt. Colby Stringer's maybe a name that you know. Colby Stringer is from Mississippi. He just committed to LSU this spring. In fact, I can do some pretty quick deductive reasoning. I was in Starkville this season. It was me and Koki Riley from The Advocate, and we were the only ones doing post-game interviews with Jay Johnson. And after they had been swept in the last game on Sunday, Jay looked at Bill Franquez, the SID who was on the field, and he pointed to me and Koki, and he said, "Hey, can I knock this out? I got to go see a recruit." We talked to me and Koki for 15 minutes, and then 24 hours later, a kid from Mississippi, Colby Stringer, committed to LSU. I think I figured out when Jay Johnson locked that deal up. It was pretty easy to figure out 24 hours later. Stringer is from a small town in Mississippi, and he exploded as a senior. Just a monster year for the 6'3" right-hander. Big fastball, good breaking ball, and he's one of those guys that didn't do the showcase circuit at all, was not on anybody's radar, but then people started to hear about him in February, March, April of this year, and everybody flocked to see him pitch a couple of times. And that just gets a lot of attention and a lot of buzz going. When you're that late a riser, people notice you very quickly, and so I think my gut is that LSU does not get him to campus, but it is absolutely possible. He's not a slam dunk, like top 30 pick. He's a guy that was late on the scene, and everybody's aware of him because everyone had to rush to go see him. But I think there's a decent chance that he moves on. If he doesn't, be a really big get for LSU. Then you've got Colton Brady. He's my favorite of the fringe guys in this class. Why? He's 6'5", and he's got a really fluid delivery. I like Reagan Ricken in this class from last year, and Colton Brady. I'm not suggesting that I think they're aces. There are guys on this list that I would take before Colton Brady, but when I'm looking at realistic guys to get to campus and the profile for a potential weekend starting pitcher, Colton Brady is one I really, really like. He's on campus too right now. If you look at prospect lists, he's around 200. That's a deal where it's how much money does an organization have, and he's probably a guy that's going to get a call for like 1.2. If he gets a call for 2.2, probably Katie bar the door. If he gets a call for 850, it's like, well, I don't know. He's a pretty strong commitment, and I love the profile for Colton Brady. If they could get him through, it would be awesome. Major Osbolt is the only JUCO commitment in this class. I think he's a very significant draft risk because he's old. He's going to be 22 for next year's draft. He's 21 right now. I just feel like you're looking at a guy that that is very likely to sign out of the junior college ranks. Would be a nice guy to add, obviously, but I think you're probably going to lose him. And then Braden Wisner is the next one. In a class of like towering right-handers, so I've given you a bunch of 6'5" guys, Braden Wisner is 6'2", but he still can touch 97. So, again, I talk about the quote-unquote flaw. 6'2" is not 6'5", and there are 6'5", 6'7" guys in this class. What do the scouts think about Braden Wisner? I think LSU's got a chance to get him to campus. LSU feels okay about getting him to school, and he's got a lot of talent. So this is a list of 6 I've given you with Cooper Sides, Dylan Blomker, Colby Stringer, Colton Brady, Major Osbolt, and Braden Wisner. If you could get 3 of the 6, it would be awesome. LSU, I think, is prepared to lose 7 or 8 guys. If it's like 11, it's another really big gut punch. If it's like 6, you're going to have to make some decisions with the roster because you'll be over the limit. And that's not Jay Johnson's fault because the portal window is early and the draft is late, and his job is to get as many good players as possible. And if there have to be some tough conversations next week based on how this thing goes, that's what's got to happen. I would suggest if you have thought this was a lot to digest, and there are more players in this class. A couple of left-handers that are exciting, and Spencer Evans and Braden Cupid. A couple other guys, and a first baseman with a really good power bat and really good contact bat in Dylan Minity, and then an outfielder in Wesley Robertson, who I don't think LSU is going to get. There's more on LouisianaSports.net that you can read and maybe digest a little bit more. Google some guys' names that you see. If you're driving around and I'm just ripping off high school baseball players' names, that's going to be tough. But the moral of the story is I've grouped these on LouisianaSports.net in groups that if LSU can get half of them, beyond the top one, you're not getting half of that top tier. If you can get 2 of those guys, it would be incredible. I've got them in groups where LSU's prepared to get 50% of that group. And if they do that, they'll feel like they've built themselves enough depth. Jay Johnson intentionally got more commitments than he's going to have roster spots because the guys he signs are going to be looked at by Pro Bowl. The majority of these guys that I've gone through that are 50-50 on the fence, it's oftentimes like a 1.5 to 2.5 window. And if you've got families and agents and players that are convicted enough to tell $1.8 million that I'll see in 3 years, I'll see in 2 years, you get that guy. If you don't, and you've got a family, an agent, and a player who say their number's 2.1 and 1.65 shows up and they jump at 1.65, well, that happens. And that's when you feel like you've lost a roster spot. Jay Johnson wasn't willing to do that this time around. He's just overloaded it. And there's a reasonable chance that next week Jay Johnson's going to have some discussions with people that's like, hey, I don't have a spot. And it's just part of it. In this era with the schedule they've got, that's what's got to happen. So that's my look at the MLB draft. Again, it's there for free on the homepage of LouisianaSports.net. If you go to LouisianaSports.net, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you get around to looking at this later and it's not on the homepage because something's rolled it off, there's always a tab that's teams, LSU, and you can even go to LSU Baseball, and this will be front and center if you go to the LSU Baseball tab on LouisianaSports.net. So feel free to give that a look if you got some time and are interested in LSU's draft. Cranks up this weekend in Philadelphia, 2-day event that should be massively impactful for LSU Baseball moving forward. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll come back with What If Wednesday next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Find them online at FABT.com. It's FABT.com. Started up in 1910. 116 years later, they're still here, and they're still growing. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana, so there's always one near you. Here's the difference when you bank with First American Bank and Trust. If you're applying for a commercial loan, you're applying for a personal loan, don't you feel better if the people reviewing that are local? If the people reviewing that are the people that you share a town with, share a city with? You're not picking up the phone to call somebody in Chicago. You're not picking up the phone to call somebody in Atlanta. You're picking up the phone to call somebody whose kids go to school where yours do. That's what you get at First American Bank and Trust. Every single branch is in Southeast Louisiana. So if you're just outside of Baton Rouge, or if you're up I-12, or if you're down the bayou in Metairie, there's a branch near you with people working in the branch that are in your community. It's a community feel with the resources that come with those 25 locations. It's First American Bank and Trust. Check them out online at FABT.com.
Box combo for George. I see you, Luis. Food's on the way.
Please don't. Hey, you know you can use your hands, right?
Got those box combos for you. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
It's that time of year where you're thinking, man, wish I had that pool I've always wanted, but I don't. So I just fry in the backyard when it's 104 degrees. Change it. Contact Renaissance Homes and Pools. They can build you the home of your dreams. They can build you the pool of your dreams. You've already got a great pool, but maybe you got it 15 years ago. What can you do to kind of revitalize it? Well, you can call Renaissance Homes and Pools. You're talking about being able to revitalize a job that was done a decade ago by removing and reinstalling, removing the old plaster, reinstalling the new plaster. That's generally got to be done every 10 to 15 years. If it's fading or peeling, Renaissance can come in, remove the old, reinstall the new. And what that's going to do is it's going to update the pool. You can get a new water line put in. You don't have to, but you can get new tile, plaster, make your pool look brand new at a reasonable cost. You can actually expand what you've done with your decking. You can expand your equipment. You can add automation to control pumps and heaters, heater lights, valves. All that can be done by our friends at Renaissance Homes and Pools. And just call the owner. I give you his number every single week, 225-252-7745. Call Joey, send him a text. Send Joey a text. Say, hey, I'd like to look at a new pool. Hey, I'd like to look at remodeling my pool. He can do that. 225-252-7745. Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. It's What If Wednesday.
Space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, so what if you could have one LSU offensive coordinator and one defensive coordinator? In its prime, we get that football has changed in the last 25 years for the next 10 years.
All right, they've had some good ones, obviously. On defense, you're talking about Muschamp under Saban. You're talking about Bo Pelini, who we got back. I don't think that's going to be the answer. But you're talking about John Chavis, who I thought did an awesome job up until the end when he decided to bail for Texas A&M. Obviously, you had Dave Aranda come in after that. I think that Blake Baker has done a great job. But for me, I just felt the best with Dave Aranda on the sideline. I just thought he was the best. It's a best of a good group, and I would go with Dave Aranda. Offensively, I'm kind of tempted. I know who his quarterback was, and it was a short time. I'm kind of tempted to go with Mike Denbrock. He has been consistent at every stop.
Notre Dame, yeah.
It's not the flashiest thing you've ever seen, but like the guy gets it. And so I'm looking at Gary Croton and Jimbo Fisher. I'm looking at Joe Sloan. I'm looking at Greg Stadrala, and it's certainly not Cam Cameron. Like I think Insminger did a really good job, but and Matt Canada got a raw deal, I think. But I think I would go with Mike Denbrock.
Okay, so what if Joey McGuire from Texas Tech was given the SEC smoke he's been asking for?
I mean, if Texas Tech got dropped into the SEC, I think it'd be a rude awakening for them. You just don't get a lot of Arizona State into BYU, into Kansas State, into TCU.
Colorado in there.
Yeah, it's just not a lot of that. Now, there's certainly some that Texas Tech's miles better than Mississippi State. They're miles better than Kentucky. They're a good football program that would win plenty of games in the SEC. But if you took a couple of those games I was talking about out and you went to Tuscaloosa, Andor went to Athens, Andor went to Austin, Andor went to Knoxville,
Knoxville.
it's not going to go as well. You're not going 11-1. I don't think with that roster. So they would be okay. They'd be like LSU's been the last couple of years, but they're not in the playoff.
You feel like not as low as Arkansas, but right around where LSU is, would you say? SEC-wise?
Yeah, I think they'd be around where LSU's been. LSU's had a lot of talented dudes. They spend a lot of money in the portal, and they lose 4 or 5 games. Like, that's probably what Texas Tech would do. They're not in Texas or certainly Georgia's class. Sorry.
All right, so what if you could pick LSU's 3 representatives for SEC Media Days?
Oh, definitely go with Levitt, 100%. Got to have the quarterback, and he's just an interesting story. I would not take Witt. Witt is gregarious. I would love to go over to Witt's house and let him cook dinner for me and hang out.
Big crawfish
But
guy.
I've heard Witt talk enough to know he's going to give a really positive answer with a big smile on his face every time. And I like that, but I've seen it a lot, so I don't really need that. So I'm definitely in with Levitt. I feel like I would kind of like to hear from Winnie Watkins, who has no chance to go, but he was really good on AFR.
Yeah.
Gave some great quotes, and he's a good personality. Plus, he's got Kiffin Weiss stories he can tell me from being in that program at Ole Miss. So probably Winnie Watkins.
That was a deep pull. I didn't think he was going to go Winnie.
Yeah, and then I gotta find somebody on defense there, I guess.
You want somebody that's been around?
I don't know enough about Ty Benefield, and he's probably the guy. I mean, I thought TJ Dotter's a pretty good quote, and he's been at Clemson and Ole Miss. But I think that's reasonable. Let me go with Levitt, Winnie Watkins, and Ty Benefield is probably if I got to pick for my content purposes to go to interact with him one-on-one, because I'll get to talk to all 3 of those guys probably at 2 different stops to get content for the website and for the show. So those are probably the 3 that I'm most interested to talk to, that on top of that are pretty good quotes. Like, there are great players that aren't great quotes, and you don't need to be a great quote. I'd rather you go make 100 tackles or score 10 touchdowns, but those are the guys based on what I know about their quotes and their stories that I would probably like to hear from.
Yeah, the 3 transfers. I didn't think he was going to go that way. I didn't think he was going to pick the 3 transfers.
I would be thrilled if Bo Bordelon goes, and I hope he does. I've heard him talk
in reality,
too.
He probably will be. Yeah, the real thing. So what if Myers or Keller decided soccer is their sport of choice and passion? What if Hunt becomes a soccer dad and coach?
So that's from the text line, I'm told. There's no way I can be the soccer coach past like 2nd grade. And even if I was the coach into 2nd grade, the kids are at a huge disadvantage because I don't know anything about soccer other than don't pick the ball up unless you got a different color shirt on.
Yeah.
And I do understand offsides, but I don't think they do that in 2nd grade. So I will be thrilled for them if they love soccer and have great friends and excel in that and can make that their high school sport of choice. I have great high school sports memories, and if that's what they choose to do, that's what they're good at. Awesome. Myers loved soccer last year, and I loved watching him play. That's not going to make me watch Man U and Man City play in a Saturday morning Premier League game. That's not going to happen. It's just not. But I'd be thrilled if they want to do that. I'll tell you where I am going to draw the line. Because I've seen parents do this, and it's okay if they do it. I'm just not. If one of my kids goes to Ole Miss or Bama or A&M or Texas, you will not find me grabbing a new polo from that school's bookstore to wear it on campus for their game day.
Really?
That is not going to happen. Now, if they play for the team, we'll have to have a new discussion.
Okay.
But if they're just going to school there, and look, there's lots of parents probably listening right now. They're like, oh yeah, my kid goes to decided to go to Bama, and I got a Bama polo, or my kid goes to A&M, and I go to Parents Weekend, and I put on the... Yeah. That ain't happening, boss. Not a freaking shot. Chris Marler, who works here, he wears SEC gear for schools that he does not pull for, and I'm like, I can't do that, man.
Yeah,
It may be wild to some, or some people that's childish. You're not going to find me putting on an Ole Miss shirt. That's just not going to happen.
Okay, well, I don't want to speak into existence, but let's just say Myers is the striker for Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Signs with A&M. We're at his international signing day. is Hunt Palmer there in an A&M shirt with an A&M hat, smiling behind the camera.
I guess.
Family photo.
I guess so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've got a white shirt. I got a Callaway golf hat I can wear. But
everybody else
black.
got A&M stuff on.
I don't like it.
But he's going there for the next 4 years. Well, 5 years. Got 5 and 5.
As long as he plays for the soccer team and doesn't wear a milk costume and scream and dance around the sidelines. How about that?
Okay, we could do that.
We can play soccer.
We can do that.
Play soccer.
We can do that.
Not yell leading. All right, let's talk to Dr. Jeremy Burnham. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Speaking of Dr. Jeremy Burnham, he's with the good folks at Ochsner, and they want to help you out with the heat this summer. You know it's here, and heat stroke is a real thing, y'all. You've got to be mindful of it all the time when you're outside, especially if you're a young athlete. The folks at Ochsner recommend you wear loose gear, breathable gear, work out in the morning, in the evening, drink water and low-sugar electrolyte drinks. Skip out on alcohol if you're training hard. It's sometimes tough for some of us, but you got to try to do that. Use sunscreen, sunglasses. A true sun coverage hat can absolutely help. You can pick one of those up. And know your limits. That may be as important as anything. If you feel off at all, don't push it in this heat. It is not to be messed with in this part of the world in this time of year. Hydration is so important year-round, so make sure you do that. That's all courtesy of our friends over at Ochsner. If you need to find a nearest urgent care, you can do that at ochsner.org/UC for urgent care. That's ochsner.org/UC.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Whoa! Closing out hour number 1 here, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer. Always our pleasure to welcome on the team from Auctioner, Dr. Jeremy Burnham. Good enough to give us some time this week. Joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Dr. Burnham, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Good afternoon. Joining you from Seattle, Washington.
Ah, beautiful. Unfortunately, where the U.S.'s World Cup dreams died right there in the Pacific Northwest. Injuries have been a big talk in the World Cup, some significant, some very unfortunate in terms of the circumstances. I don't know if you saw this. Jordan Henderson scored a goal in the World Cup, went to jump over the signage on the side and to celebrate, and he's going to miss the rest of the World Cup.
Well, believe it or not, Hunt, these celebration injuries are more common than you would think. And if you really kind of go back and look over the last several years, just in Louisiana, we've seen several notable celebration injuries. And there's been some research on it. A colleague of mine actually did a study where he looked at some of the statistics around celebration injuries.
I mean, that's nuts. I mean, we've seen some in the past. There's a famous NFL quarterback that ran in for a touchdown and then headbutted the wall and sprained his neck and couldn't play. The Grammatica kicker who jumped in the air. Is ACL the most likely injury when guys are jumping on one leg and spinning around to celebrate or dancing?
Well, so believe it or not, the ACL is one of the most common ones. Ankle injuries are the second most common. They looked at how does it happen, what kind of celebrations, and the themes that they found was usually when you're doing some type of a dog pile maneuver or somebody goes to slide into, say, like a celebration pile. That's actually the most dangerous. And actually, 1/4 of these injuries, 26%, require surgery. And so that's a number I didn't quite realize. But these have the potential to be just as bad as an injury that's sustained on the field.
This screams to me. I don't know if you know this, but Will Wade at LSU basketball said one time they chart how many times per practice players land on either leg to see if they can help prevent injuries in this way. This screams like something Will Wade would have specialists in to look at about celebrations to make sure they don't get hurt. There's a significant study on that. There's that data is fascinating to me for sure. And another thing that's fascinating, you said you're in Seattle, but y'all are at another conference and presenting again on ACL research.
That's right. So the American Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine, that's one of the main ortho sports med conferences. We're here in Seattle. They're having their annual meeting. Our research team and sports medicine team in Baton Rouge, some of our ACL injury prevention research was selected to be presented here. So super proud of the team. And, I think we have, world-leading elite sports in Louisiana. I'm glad to see that the sports medicine is getting recognized on the national stage as well.
It's incredible, incredible stuff. I know, look, we're in July, and we're kind of starting to turn the page to football at this point. I know that a lot of youth high school teams will crank things up here in the next few weeks. The Saints are going to get into action here within the month. LSU is less than a month from practicing as well. And the Heat here is something I was just talking about in our live read for y'all. But I know that's something that y'all focus a ton on. Is there anything that you would suggest specifically that folks, it's not just, hey, drink water and make sure you take a break and get in the shade. Like there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, there really is, and there's a lot more data about it now than there used to be, so we're starting to understand it better. It's extremely dangerous. I think acclimation is probably one of the keys. We use a term called a wet bulb globe thermometer, and so that's a thermometer that really tells us how much heat that the body's feeling. All of our partner teams, we're able to provide them that data. You're seeing a lot of teams, even football teams, are shifting practice to the mornings. My girls run track and cross country, and they're running during the summer, every weekday morning, they start their run by 6 a.m. with their team just to try to avoid some of those worst days. I think like anything else physical, it's just about consistency and not doing too much too soon, but being regularly acclimated to that and then being smart about the times that you're outside.
Well, congrats on the opportunity to present up there in Seattle. Enjoy a little bit of cooler weather and safe travels coming back. We'll talk in a couple of weeks.
Thanks. Hey, have a great day.
You too. That's Dr. Jeremy Burnham with Auctioner, who's mentioned running. I've gotten into a routine. When my kids wake up, it's nonstop the whole day. So I've just decided I'm going to knock out my running and a lot of my morning work before they ever get out of bed. It's light outside at like 5:15, and I usually run at about 5:40. It's actually kind of nice out there. It's a little bit muggy, but it's kind of nice compared to what it is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I would kind of suggest that. I will say this, Jordan. There is a couple. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the air. There's a couple in my neighborhood. There are only a few of us out there at 5:45 moving around. It's the same 4 people I see in my neighborhood every morning. There's a couple that walks in what I believe to be their clothing for the day.
No way.
I am drenched in sweat. Now, I'm running and they're walking. But
Still humid.
I would just be a mess if I walked around for 25 minutes. Pants on, button-down shirt, not long sleeve, but button-down, like, short-sleeve shirt.
Oh, no.
I support the effort to spend some time together and to get moving around at 5:45, but I'm not sure I can support the attire.
Can't. Hit the showers, man. No way.
And they might. Like, they just don't really have any athletic gear, and there are a couple that probably appears in their 50s or 60s to me.
Okay, so they might be retired, you think?
It's possible.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe they just don't have any athletic wear, and they're going ahead and getting a shower after that. But, like, I run by them every morning, and I'm just like, that clothing would not work for me. It just would not.
As it shouldn't. Come on, man. A button up and some slacks?
My shirt was just absolutely drenched this morning. I didn't have a dry fit on. That will be that's something I'll rectify tomorrow. Get out there in the mornings or in the evenings if you're going to move around, because obviously the heat is a big deal at this point in the calendars. Thanks to Dr. Jeremy Burnham for jumping aboard. That if you haven't seen that English football player, soccer player, get injured jumping over the signage, it's very Grammatica-esque. It's kind of like what Mason Smith did in the Superdome, but he wasn't celebrating. He was just jumping over a pile. That was a tough scene in that one. All right, that's it for hour number one. I spent the first 30 minutes of the hour talking about LSU's baseball signing class. If that's interesting to you with the draft coming up and you'd like to get some names and see what LSU needs to get through the draft, I've written about it at LouisianaSports.net, and that'll be published on demand as well, wherever you find your sound. It's extensive, but there's a lot of it, and I think it's very important. So spent 30 minutes on that. Also, What If Wednesday, and thanks for Dr. Burnham to come on. We're going to talk some LSU football, the center position, and then Tyrann Mathieu and Verge Ausberry talking hoops. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, if your toilet, your shower, your bathtub are old and dingy, maybe they don't function properly, transform your bathroom. Put a new bathtub in. Put a new walk-in shower in. Put new flooring and a new vanity in. David Vaughn and his team can do the entirety of that project. They did it for our Talk 107.3 morning host, Brian Haldane. And the Haldanes have been thrilled. They went from one vanity to two in their bathroom, redid the floors, gorgeous new shower, soup to nuts. One Bath and Closets can do it. And if you're concerned about payments, they have financing available. 0% up to 18 months. That is same as cash. Get that free consultation. It's free to talk to David. You can get that at onebathandclosets.com. You can see some of the great pictures of their work. Revitalize your bathroom entering the fall with One Bath and Closets.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
This is SportsCenter.
Work together, but like over the last year or so, that personal relationship, it was as close to not existent as you could have. But on the court, they were amazing, hard-working professionals together.
Sean's on Mad Dog Sports Radio. 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 2-time World Series champ, future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander announcing he will retire after this 2026 Major League season.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour number 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We're officially on the back half of the week, working towards the weekend. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Going to start up a new series in 15 minutes for LSU football. I've already done it on louisianasports.net, so if you were a reader and a listener, it may be a little overlap, but we invite you to go check those out. The one I wrote for Center, which we're going to do in 15 minutes, was like 2 weeks ago. So it's been a minute. There's a little bit of space between them, but we're going to go through every position on the football team. We'll get through media days, and we'll really be in the thick of it once we get back from Tampa in a couple of weeks. So time to get into that. And ESPN.com put together a breakout player for every NFL team. They came up with a Saint, and I added 3 to it. So we'll talk about some potential breakout players for New Orleans coming up in 30 minutes. Tyrann Mathieu has started a podcast called In the Bayou. And LSU has offered him a lot of access. He sat down with Whit Weeks. He sat down with Lane Kiffin. He sat down with Verge Ausberry. And when I was listening to that, I was thinking to myself, I don't get why Tyrann gets all the access. Tyrann was only at LSU for 2 years. I was at LSU for 5 years. Tyrann never won a championship outside of the SEC, which I won as the sixth man on a six-man team, the intramural basketball championship at LSU over some of the football players. Now, I only played like 30 seconds in that game, but it seems like my accomplishments are pretty significant on campus. 5 years, won an intramural basketball championship. He was only there for 2 years and won the SEC. Got beat in the national championship game. I only had one chance at a championship game too, and we won. It just doesn't really make sense that he gets all the access. Maybe it does. But there's good content there. You also go check it out, Tyrann, with his In the Bayou podcast. And he was talking to Verge Ausberry, and there's one quote that stood out to me that I kind of took it and ran with it with my train of thought. My mind can kind of go crazy on these things. I did an aptitude test in, I think it was 9th grade, and I was in the 99th percentile in stream of conscious. Now, there are plenty of things that I'm in like the 11th percentile. Spatial recognition and a bunch of stuff. I can't. Short-term memory stuff is terrible. But stream of conscience, I can think about something and keep rolling. And it's probably good for a 2-hour radio show where I sit here and talk to myself. But my thoughts started going when Verge said this. So we'll play this clip of Verge Ausberry, LSU's athletic director, talking to Tyrann Mathieu about LSU staying competitive, specifically with Will Wade in basketball and recruiting players.
And then we're just trying to figure out from the NCAA, what's the rules? We'll live by the rules, because right now there's really no rules and we don't know them. Yeah. And so that's the hard part for us, trying to figure out, what we do and how we remain competitive. Versus, some people complain about, Will Wade and the basketball players he signed. Well, if the rule is there and there's no rules against it, go for it. Yeah. And we're going to live within the rules there is. But I want to win. LSU wants to win. Yeah. And we're going to be competitive here. Yeah. And I'm not going to give my team a competitive disadvantage to other people in the country. Yeah.
I think for the athletic director to have that kind of mindset, that's what me, as an LSU alum, as an LSU fan, that's the exact mindset I want to have. I don't need you to go break the rules. Like I've said many, many times that I was okay morally with Will Wade breaking the rules of paying players under the table in that era because I felt it was the only way to truly become competitive in the landscape of college basketball. If you want to play with some of the best programs in college basketball, which I'm not suggesting that LSU did more often than not. Like they got clocked pretty good against Michigan State. Michigan handled them pretty well in the tournament. But you were competitive in the SEC. You were competitive with John Calipari. You were competitive with Rick Barnes. You were competitive with Nate Oates. Now, he beat you more than you beat him. But, you were competitive. And I was okay with going to get Trenton Watford and Cam Thomas and Naz Reid. And I didn't really care how he did it because I thought they were all doing that. Now, you start, doing things that are illegal that I would call in-game cheating that was beyond the landscape of what other teams were doing. If you were taking players out, if you were illegally filming practices, if you were doing things that were flagrant, that weren't what was just part of the basketball culture at the time, I would have had an issue with that. As far as paying players, I don't care. At this point, though, with Verge Ausberry's talking about is just tell us the rules. We're happy to abide by the rules, and we're going to go out there and try to win, and we don't feel like there are enough communications to what the rules may be. And when he talks about the Will Wade thing specifically, I feel a little bit icky about some of it. But if it's deemed within the rules, I have no issue with it, other than it just feels a little bit weird to have 25 and 26-year-old players out there that are from different parts of the country that are here for a year and then bolt. But ultimately, the foundation of what Ausberry is saying is, we're at LSU, we're here to win. And as long as you're playing within the rules, I'm glad you have that attitude. I want that attitude. I want my athletic director to have that attitude. And what's good with the Will Wade situation is that you got Jeff Goodman running his mouth saying that Will Wade, get out of college basketball. You're bad for college basketball for trying to do this kind of stuff. And what I would say to Jeff Goodman, and then to tie it back to Verge Ausberry at the end, is if the NCAA says that these guys are ineligible and they don't play for LSU, well, what harm did LSU do? They tried to get a guy eligible. Everybody's going overseas. They found a guy overseas. They bring him here. If the NCAA says, well, he can't play, then you go play without him. But if the NCAA says he can play and it's within the rules, what's the problem? That to me is just an example of Jeff Goodman determining, well, I don't like Will Wade, and I don't really like that, so you're bad for college basketball. Now, if you want to suggest that Will Wade starts strong-arming the NCAA and LSU gets saddled in court and all that kind of stuff, that blurs that line a little bit, and we'll cross that bridge if we need to. But Will Wade here initially did not have support from his administration, and that was evidence when Scott Woodward fired him. He didn't have support from the administration. You could feel that with Joe Oliva. You could feel that at the end with Scott Woodward. Joe Oliva said as much at the end. I should have known better. People told me not to hire him, and I'm sitting here listening to Joe Oliva going, I'm glad you did hire him. We were good at basketball for 5 years, and we've sucked my whole life. But he didn't have support from his administration. At the end, he and Oliva parted ways, and at the end, he and Woodward weren't talking, and it was just toxic. And that's a hard way to go to work. And Will Wade still did it, and most people outside of Baton Rouge hated him for it. But he worked in an environment that was very, very difficult. And Well, I think that, there are some intra-department politics with LSU men's basketball. I don't think it's toxic. I think it's just everyone assuming their roles. And I think Will Wade has the support of his administration. I know he has the support of the governor. I know he has the support of the chairman of the Board of Supervisors. And I'm comfortable with his relationship with the new athletic director, who was here when he got fired, but is coming out publicly on Tyron's podcast and saying that. And so I think Will Wade is being given a clean and supported slate here at LSU, which is just a comfortable thing to know, because we know at the end he was not working under those things. And that's important to me. LSU basketball is important to me. I really, really enjoy it. I've said this a bunch of times. You can cross a dot in my career path that lines up and is in line with LSU basketball. Where I did my podcast when I was completely out of media, but I was just doing an LSU podcast in this building every morning at 6:30. Because I like LSU basketball, and it kept me kept me moving forward in media, even though I really wasn't. I was out of the business almost entirely beyond that 20 minutes a day. It's because I love LSU basketball. I didn't do it because I had to have the minuscule monthly check it got me. I was doing it because I love LSU basketball. And I want Will Wade to do well. And I think the job's really hard. And I think if you get more headwind from your own administration, it becomes even harder. I know Verge Ausberry is going to do everything he can do to make sure that football is successful. I know that Verge Ausberry quickly, upon assuming that job and finding a football coach, which he had to do immediately, took care of LSU baseball to an extent, was very, very much present with Jay Johnson. I know that Verge Ausberry and Kim Mulkey are on good terms. I know that Verge Ausberry is doing a lot of really good things, and I know that LSU basketball, with Heath Schroyer in the mix, is pushing off the dock without headwinds internally. And that is a really inviting thing, and I want the LSU athletic director to say, hey, just tell us what the rules are. What do I tell y'all when there's a rule change? I'm not as concerned with what it means for everybody, although that's a part of it. What does it mean for LSU? And that's what LSU's trying to figure out. And with this eligibility thing, we'll see. LSU's got 3 more weeks to submit the paperwork, and then you got to get those guys eligible by – they had to get the paperwork in by last week. Get those guys eligible by the time school starts, which you've got, you've got a little bit of time, a month, before camp, and then another 3 weeks before school starts. So 6-7 weeks. I'm comfortable with where LSU basketball is internally. And that's just not something you could say at the end of the Will Wade era, and it's just not something anybody gave any mind to with the McMahon era because they didn't have the support and the players. So I'm happy with that, to just be quite honest with you. And I heard that quote, and it just got me to running down memory lane and then think about moving forward. It's good to know that LSU basketball is in a good place internally. All right, let's talk some football next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
I'm telling you about Marucci. Look, it's hot out there, y'all. It's really hot. And it rains a lot in the afternoon. So if your kiddo, and when you come home from work, likes to work, with you in the backyard, maybe hitting off the tee or working on some pitching, it can be quite warm. But if you get a membership to the Hitter's House over at Marucci, you can beat the heat. You can go indoors, take some swings in the batting cage, get some work in off the mound or in the circle. Youth baseball, youth softball, get some work in at Marucci. And the best thing is they're open 24/7. So if your kiddo's at home and wants to pop in during the day, can do that. You want to go in the evening after you're done with work, and do that. It's versatile, and it's a great way to beat our weather conditions, which in the summer can be pretty brutal on 2 different fronts. So if you've got a youth softball player, youth baseball player in your house that you want to keep practicing during the summer months, Marucci offers you a membership that gives you 24/7 key card access to the Hitter's House. Look into that. Go check them out online at maruccisports.com.
At Parrish, we're built for tough players and tough roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishMilk.com.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Another roof gone too soon.
Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation.
At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today.
Case closed.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Shout out to Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. There's a decent chance on Sunday you got caught with your lights out, AC out, fridge out of commission. It's not a good place to be this time of year in this market. And my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical know that. Neil and Melissa have been running Boudreaux's Electrical for 40 years. And they know how to service the people of South Louisiana. You get a local team to come out, look at your place, and they'll determine what a quote looks like for you. Get that local installation, local monitoring, local maintenance work, and you got the peace of mind all the while knowing that you're not going to lose your lights. Your power's not going to go out for those nasty afternoon thunderstorms or if a hurricane rolls through. Get that Generac home standby generator installed sooner rather than later. It's not something you want to think about in the dark, hot house. We've all been there. You don't have to be. You get a Generac home standby generator from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Well, how do you contact them? Call them at the same number they've had for 4 decades, 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. You can also give them a call at 225-300-9389. It's Boudreaux's Electrical Services, online at boudreauxelectrical.com. All right, we're going to start up a new series here called In-Depth Chart, where I'm going to go through every position on LSU's football roster and just kind of give you the lay of the land. It's not going to be something that is too much to digest day to day, but it's just a good snapshot of where the roster is, and I think a good way to ease back into the football side of the calendar, which around here is really July 15th through January 31st. Like that is prime football action. There's football the other time, but that's when we're really focused on the pigskin. So we'll start at LSU with the center position, which I think was probably undervalued by the LSU fan base in terms of the construction of this roster. Because you're looking at the shiny bells and whistles of Sam Levitt, and you're looking at, there's Jordan Seaton. Prince William Mielen. Got DJ Pickett to stay. Whit Weeks is coming back. Tom Bitterfield, you got him. Look at all these receivers you pulled in. Former 5-star 1,000-yarder for Kansas State. Whoa, Ole Miss sent you a wide receiver. Look at these guys from Hawaii and Old Dominion that everybody wanted. And then you got Harlan Berry and Caden Durham to come back, and Trey'Dez Green's locked in. You're looking at all these shiny toys, and there's Braylon Moore. So they'll come back. And that's not the most interesting thing, but it could be a very, very important thing for LSU. You're talking about a guy who has started 24 games in the ACC and 12 more at LSU. 26 games he's started in Power Conference football. He's 6'2", 300 pounds, and beat out DJ Chester for the center spot last year. He missed the vast majority of the Louisiana Tech game. He was hurt a minute into the game. He also did not play against Oklahoma, but he played 623 snaps last year in 12 starts, and he graded exceptionally well in pass protection, according to Pro Football Focus, 81.1, with only 1 sack allowed on the season, and he was playing on a bum ankle most of the year. So you're talking about a guy who has been a starting center for 3 years and has allowed 4 total sacks as a starting center. He could have had a chance to go to the NFL. And he's one of those guys that is not going to get a lot bigger, not going to get a lot faster. He's got a ton of tape. It's not like NFL teams couldn't evaluate him. He's just a guy that would have probably struggled to make an NFL roster. And there's financial opportunity back in the college ranks that I'm confident he was offered, and decided that was the best thing for his football life and his football finances to come back and anchor LSU's offensive line. Now, I want to talk about what's behind him, and then we'll talk about what the importance is of having a really good center in this offense. But William Satterwhite comes in from Tennessee as your backup center. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He was a top 200 player by ESPN and Rivals. He played in 11 games over 2 years at Tennessee. Was not a starter, but did play in 11 games, and all of his offensive time came at center. He played 233 snaps at center. He's a little bit bigger than Moore at 6'3", 295, but he profiles very much as a center. He's a little lighter. He's a little more athletic, and he was a really big high school recruit. Has he played a lot? No. You also have a couple of young players who will add depth. Ryan Moret is very interesting. He was one of the Ole Miss defections that you probably aren't aware of. Like Corey Barber at wide receiver, yeah. Prince William Mielen, yeah, I remember him. Okay, yeah. Winnie Watkins, of course. But Ryan Moret was one of the guys that was in the signing class that flipped. He came on AFR and sat in this studio and talked about his high school career. And keep in mind, he was a non-significant recruit nationally. Ranked in the hundreds in the state of Florida, 3-star recruit. Not someone who was thought of highly. But Lane Kiffin and his offensive staff identified Moret as a Florida State champion in wrestling. And not just a Florida State champion, 29-0 in the highest weight class in Florida in Greco-Roman wrestling. He's 6'4", 300 pounds, knows how to play with leverage, can move, pretty athletic. He has an interesting story. And I think that's a guy that Kiffin and his team feel like they've identified. It was kind of in the weeds that flipped over to LSU. The other guy, the fourth guy at center, is Brett Bordelon. He's about 280 pounds. He's on the shorter side, obviously Bo's younger brother. None of the recruiting services had him in the top 30 players nationally on the interior offensive line, but his dad was an all-SEC player, and of course his brother's been on the team for 4 years. He did not play any last year, but he's taken snaps at center and guard in spring workouts. So as you get Braylon Moore back, you've got a really good pass blocker, a veteran, and someone who's not going to be overwhelmed with this new tempo because Braylon Moore knows the ropes, okay? So, yes, this will be faster than he's ever played. But if you're going to play faster than you've ever played, do you want to do that with someone who has 36 career starts, or do you want to do that with someone with none? Like, you want to do that with a guy who knows how to command an offensive line and knows how to move. And LSU, everybody on this roster, Sam Leavitt, Harlem Berry, Jace Brown, Tradez Green, Jordan Seaton, everybody is going to have to learn, other than Winnie Watkins, how to play this fast. And I just would rather have a fifth-year senior center under center to do that, to know how to quickly identify blitzers when you're trying to go quickly and make sure that everybody is on the same page. And he's not a huge risk in terms of snapping the ball. How often do you see they move a guard to center and he's not comfortable snapping the ball and you snap 3 over the quarterback's head in the same game? In college football, you see that all the time. I don't have to worry about that with Braylon Moore. So this is I am confident in Tampa in 2 weeks, not one outside of Baton Rouge media person is going to ask me about LSU's center. Not one. And we're probably not going to talk a lot about it in August. But as I look at what's important, as I look at how poorly LSU played at times on the offensive front last year, as I look at the transition to tempo that LSU was looking at, and I look at Braylon Moore's decision to stay, it was a big, big deal. And so I think Braylon Moore is going to be a key piece to LSU, and I hope that he can stay a lot healthier than he did last year to help keep this LSU offense cooking. I think William Satterwhite is the obvious backup choice, and then I think Moret and Bordelon will battle for time at center. And I think Moret is only a center. He only played center in high school. Bordelon can probably play both. But you've got right now an all-SEC caliber center and an SEC veteran now, with Satterwhite being a third-year player as your backup. In this era, at any position, that's about as good as you can do. An all-SEC level player at the front and a proven veteran, well, not a proven veteran, a veteran with SEC pedigree to back him up. You've got 2 young pups waiting in the wings, but I do think that's a really, really good thing for LSU, and I'm as comfortable with that position as almost any out there as long as Braylon Moore is healthy. His floor is exceptionally high, and I think that's exactly what you need at the center position for LSU. So I'm confident and comfortable in that role. And you may say, well, at this time of year, you're comfortable with everything. I'm not. I'm uncomfortable with depth at corner. I've got some concerns on the defensive interior with the defensive line. Like, we'll get to it position by position, and I've written it a lot at LouisianaSports.net. But at center, I like the starter, and I'm comfortable with the way the depth slots behind it. I think that's a good spot for LSU, and it's a good spot for us to start here with our in-depth chart. We'll do a series every single day. We'll get to guard tomorrow, where you've got a battle at left guard, you've got a big-time transfer at right guard, and I think an interesting spot on this LSU roster that we'll get to on tomorrow's show. If you want to catch our LSU content in terms of audio and video, wherever you find your podcast, Hunt on LSU, all these will be uploaded onto that channel, so subscribe to it. If you want your LSU football fix daily, you can catch it right there. You can also find our Saints coverage at Hunt on Saints if you're looking to do that. Our next segment's going to be on the Saints. We'll see you then.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Such a short drive from here in Baton Rouge. Such a short drive from over in Point Capee Parish. Such a short drive from, obviously, over there in the Felicianas, where St. Francisville is. Go check them out on Highway 61 at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're just going to give you a wonderful buying experience. And so often, you don't get that. You feel like you're getting pushed a direction. You feel like you potentially are getting taken advantage of because you're not comfortable with what financing options you're looking for with vehicles or what the possibilities are with your trade-in. You're never going to feel taken advantage of at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're going to treat you wonderfully, and that's why the Fabry family's been in business for 35 years in this city, because they've got the reputation of taking care of their customers. Not only in the buying process, which is great, but also in the service after the sale. We've got a wonderful service department. If you're looking to get your car tuned up, they service all makes and models, so go by and see them there before you get on the road for that family vacation. Go by and get a new car before your family vacation. You can do that at Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville, and of course online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Box combo for George. I see you, Luis. Food's on the way.
Please don't. Hey, you know you can use your hands, right?
Got those box combos for you. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Insurance Group brings the Hunt Palmer Show every single day. They're online at HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. Jonathan Carbo and his team understand that there's a lot of pain out there in the benefits world. If you are a business owner, if you are a CFO, if you're in charge of putting together your benefits package and you're just getting hit every single year with those significant increases, I can't promise you the Highland Insurance Group can fix it, but I can promise you they're happy to have a conversation and they will look for another option. They're an independent broker, and that means they've got the ability to approach different carriers and create different options for your health care, for your dental, for your vision, and make sure your employees are taken care of. It's a big hit to the bottom line when those annual increases keep happening. If you've just had a bad renewal or there's another one coming up that you're a little fearful of and you just like to have a discussion with Jonathan Carbo and his team about benefits, contact the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com. That's HighlandIG.com. There have been some carriers that have just significantly increased rates over the years, and it can be a big hit to the bottom line, as I mentioned. So contact the Highland Insurance Group, and let's see if you can't get that in line. They're happy to help. The Highland Insurance Group, online at HighlandIG.com. All right, ESPN.com has a piece up about one breakout player for every team in the NFL. And there are a lot of options for the Saints. And I want to say this before I get to the pick of ESPN.com, and I'll discuss that, and then I've got 3 more to add. When I think of breakout, I think you've got to significantly outperform your best year. So, I don't want to hear Chris Olave here because he would have to go for 2,100 yards and 14 touchdowns to break out. He's already been a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't really want to hear, Travis Etienne is a breakout. Like, he runs for 1,000 yards. This is what he does in the NFL. You would be hard-pressed to get me to tell you that you're going to get a breakout year from Juwan Johnson. You got to significantly outperform. I don't think Carl Branderson or Chase Young would be a good call here. They've already had double-digit sack seasons in the NFL. Well, if they go for 19 sacks, we'll talk about it. But if they go for 9.5, like that's a nice season. I wouldn't call it a breakout. So I would say you'd have to significantly outperform your best year to break out. So ESPN went with Quincy Riley at cornerback. And the blurb says the Saints struck gold in the middle rounds last year. They found two solid starting defensive backs, Riley and third-round safety Jonas Sanker, to fill out a defense desperate for talent. Riley has an inarguable nose. That's a tough one to read out loud. Inarguable nose for the football and a great pound-per-pound strength. I'd like to see him experiment with some slot reps following Alontae Taylor's departure in free agency, but he's more than sufficient as an outside corner in a coordinator Brandon Staley's zone-heavy scheme. Sanker might end up as a better breakout player as he's first in line to replace Alontae Taylor in the slot, so I flipped a coin and landed on Riley. Okay, I like Riley as a pick. I think Quincy Riley at cornerback has a real chance to be good. It would not surprise me in the least if we look back on this season at the end of January and go, Quincy Riley's the best cornerback on this roster. That would not surprise me at all. Kool-Aid McKinstry has not earned that from me. I'm hopeful that Kool-Aid's awesome this year, but he's got more time, and I've seen less plays, I think, from Kool-Aid than I have from Riley. I've seen more of Kool-Aid, the back of Kool-Aid, and some touchdowns being caught. Quincy Riley had a little bit of that last year, but he got his nose for the ball. I like Quincy Riley as a potential breakout candidate. I have three more that I went with that I think could significantly outperform what they've done in an NFL uniform. The first two are kind of obvious, I know, but I think the jump could be massive. For one, it's very obvious because there's no baseline. It's Jordan Tyson. But would it be a big stretch if the first-round pick from the first 10 broke out? And I'm not talking about 600 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, that's just a nice, solid rookie year. Nice job, good pick. I'm talking about 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. I think it could be a huge year for Jordan Tyson relative to his rookie class, and I would call that a breakout. I think that's an obvious pick. I'm not looking for bonus points for that, but I will put it out there. I don't want to just completely dismiss that. And the next one's a little bit as obvious too, before I get to the last one, but that's Kelvin Banks. It would not shock me at all if 9 weeks into this season, I looked up at Pro Football Focus and saw some elite grades from Kelvin Banks, and we saw some people who watch this tape, Baldy and all those guys who watch these tape going, they got something here. Last year, you saw some praise. You saw, hey, this guy looks the part. He's athletic, great feet. He's done a great job in pass protection, but there are some rookie moments. These guys that are on the edges, they're freaks. They're almost impossible to deal with. And so when you get beat as a rookie, no big deal. But I think with a year under his belt, in the same system, with the same quarterback he played with at the end of last year, with now a real veteran entrenched next to him on the left that can really play and knows what's going on. And oh, by the way, veteran running backs that can help him in a way too, and 2 veteran tight ends that you brought in that are going to be around him in the pass protection game as well. I think it's possible that Kelvin Banks could really break out in his second year and become a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. Like, it would be a big leap, but I think it's really possible because I liked what I saw from him last year, especially towards the end of the season. So Quincy Riley is the ESPN pick. The last 2 first-round picks are my first 2 guys, but okay. Here's the third one that I think would be a big boon to New Orleans because of his age, the position that he plays. It's Danny Stutzman. If he could break out, then you've got Caden Ellis, who's in his 30s, Pete Werner, who's, in his prime, obviously, but has never been a Pro Bowl caliber player. If Stutzman, pushed one of those guys and became impossible to keep off the field, you could have a new leader emerge on your defense. Cam Jordan's about to be phased out. Tyrann Mathieu's gone. Demario Davis is gone. I'm kind of looking around for leaders. Now, you've got Cam this year, and Justin Reed is a leader. And I'm not saying Caden Ellis is not a leader. He was on this roster previously and can come back and as an over 30 player can help you out. But Stutzman is cheap. He was super productive at Oklahoma. And plugging that guy in the middle of your defense for 3 more years, then the contract on top of that would be awesome. And I think you saw some things last year that indicate that's possible. He was blocked to an extent with Werner and DeMario on the field. And you've got some other guys. Zay Stallberg plays some. And you've got some other guys. But Stutzman got his chance in the preseason. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there's our Stutzman. They drafted him. That's good. And he obviously made the team. And he got some chances later in the season. And he's not the most athletic guy you've ever seen. But he's got incredible football instincts. And what I noticed from him in his college days at Oklahoma was he just got people on the ground. And ultimately, that's kind of what you're looking for, right? Like, that's something that DeMario Davis just did. He got people on the ground. And I think that Stutzman, because you don't have a star at linebacker. Caden Ellis is a good NFL player. Pete Werner's a solid NFL player. You've got some of those depth pieces, but maybe Stutzman can be the centerpiece of the next great Saints defense. And that's a breakout candidate for me that I would really like to see. So if you're looking off the beaten path, that's kind of where I'm at. Shuck would be the most fun. But it'd have to be a really good season for him to break out, and that would be the most impactful on the roster. But I'm not going to call for that just this second. I'm going to call for those 3 guys that I said. And if you could get Quincy Riley, Jordan Tyson, Kelvin Banks, and Danny Stutzman, just maybe 3 of those guys to really step forward and up their level of play from anything that they've seen at the NFL level, which to Tyson is 0, but he's got a lot of potential. This is the foundation. This is what you're looking for to propel the franchise up 3 notches on the rungs. You start at the bottom pretty much here, but these are guys young with talent and some of them with significant playing time. Riley, Banks, and Stutzman played a good bit in November, December last year. That could be the group that starts to help propel this thing forward as New Orleans attempts to get younger, cheaper, more dynamic, and improve their place in the NFC. So those are my 4 guys as breakout candidates for New Orleans. Jordan, what do you got on? Who's the most likely of those to drastically elevate? Like, I don't think that's like potentially Tyson or Banks could make the Pro Bowl. Stutzman's not making the Pro Bowl, but he could wrestle a starting spot away. Like, who's the most potential breakout of that group?
Definitely would have to be Riley, just off where. I mean, I
He's
would say
start.
Banks. Yeah, he's going to start. He's going to be out there. I would say Banks has the most potential to be like the legitimate stalwart of the offensive line, and really what you drafted him as a top 10 pick to be. So you would want Banks to be that. I think Riley. I think it's a lot of smoke towards his name right now. A lot of people give him his praise right now. It's that time of the off season where people are just like, oh, this guy right here, and then the season comes and they kind of forget about him. But I think that you would want to forget about Quincy Riley this year because that means he's doing his job. You would run it, like, hey, Quincy Riley was out there. Like, no, he's been out there the last 3 games. You're not even calling his name.
I wrote about LSU's returning corners today in Pickett and Woodland.
Yeah,
and I was like, they got a lot of action because Delane was not getting action. So if that's with Quincy Riley, if he doesn't have a lot of stats like that, maybe a good thing. Here's a better question: if you grab Tyler Shuck, brought him off to the side, and inject him with troop serum, said, I got to have your answer.
Yes.
Would he rather a big-time breakout Pro Bowl performance from Jordan Tyson or Kelvin Banks? Which one would he prefer?
Jordan Tyson's his boy. He's been saying that Jordan Tyson's his boy. But I feel like as a quarterback, you want to be protected, and that's his blind side.
Yeah.
I know Jordan Tyson's his boy. They watch the games together.
Yeah.
They having dinner and all this. That's cool. But I think if you want to have a long career, you want Kelvin Banks to become a Hall of Fame left tackle. So
exactly.
I think he would rather Kelvin Banks take that leap to be his guy, his bodyguard.
There's no doubt about that. It's a fun question to ask, but there's really no doubt because if Tyson's not, well, you still have 4 other receivers.
You got a lot,
if Banks is no good, what am I doing now?
We're in trouble.
I got to put Bulaga back, and that's a disaster. So
bump Ruiz to tackle or something. Like I'd rather saw my eyeballs.
Well, you got to turn the TV off at that point. You got to go watch soccer. You got to go watch soccer if that's the case.
Watch the Prim League.
Yeah, you got to watch the Prim League. If you got Caesar salad over left tackle, that ain't gonna get it. That dog certainly will not hunt. So there's your Saints for the day. You can check it out at Hunt on Saints if you're looking for your Saints content there. Inching towards reporting for camp here there in Metairie. We'll come back and close out the show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. But go by and see him. Segan at Perkins. Go play some golf. Have some fun this weekend. Get some friends together. If you don't want to spend 5 hours in the hot sun trying to find your ball somewhere, go play at Swing Easy with 4 of your buds. Bring some cold drinks over there. Get some seltzers or some beer from them there. Turn on some tunes. Hang out in the air conditioning. Comfortable seating. Play Pebble Beach. Play Cypress Point. Play TPC Sawgrass. They got that tournament in April where they give out the jacket. You can play that course. It's a lot of fun. I love it over there at Swing Easy Golf Club. And you don't have to be a great golfer to go play. You get unlimited mulligans. It's on a simulator. So if you're looking for a different way to experience golf, you want a comfortable spot to sit, comfortable spot in the AC, crank some tunes, watch some TV, and incorporate golf into your weekend without the things that you don't love about summer golf in Louisiana. One of them is the rain. Do it at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is the website. But go by and see him on Segan at Perkins in the strip mall on the back right. You can't miss him once you look that direction. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So,
this is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows always brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you're looking for that awesome outdoor entertaining space that maybe this month is not the best to use it for. By the time football season rolls around, maybe want to get some folks over to watch the game at the outdoor kitchen. Get Renaissance Homes and Pools to come over and help you put it all together. Joey Blanchard and his team are always fired up to help you out with that outdoor entertaining spot you've always wanted. I think it's one of the best investments ever. I love an outdoor kitchen, an outdoor entertainment space with that television. Joey Blanchard and his team are happy to help you with that. And look, you just contact Joey directly. That's the best part. Joey is with you every step of the way. He's the owner of the company. He's done it for dozens of people in Baton Rouge over the years. Obviously, a 225 area code. Goes without saying. 252-7745. Again, 252-7745. All it takes is a text message to Joey's cell phone. Like, hey, heard Hunt talking about pools, heard Hunt talking about outdoor kitchens, patio setups. Can I talk to you about it? He'll be with you every step of the way. Consultation, design, the construction, the finish, it's all there. Find some more on builtbyrenaissance.com. Builtbyrenaissance.com. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. All right, we're chugging towards the finish line here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's finish things up. We'll take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Justin Verlander posted today that this will be his last season in the major leagues. In 21 seasons, he's won 266 games, 3 Cy Youngs, 5 strikeout titles, and the MVP. So is Verlander the pitcher of the generation? Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Okay.
And that might be wrong.
Well, you have.
It's three guys to me, and I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. It's Verlander, it's Scherzer, and it's Kershaw. I feared one of them more than the other two. Now, Verlander spent most of his time in the American League, so I didn't have to play him as much as a Cubs fan. I was petrified of Scherzer.
Okay.
He threw 98. He threw ridiculous sliders. His changeup was elite. And look, Verlander had a lot of that too. And he may outpace Scherzer from a career numbers perspective. In fact, I'm confident he does. I feared Scherzer more. If the historians looked at it, they would probably say Scherzer was third on that list, and the Verlander and Kershaw are the two from this generation. But I feared Scherzer the most, and so I would go with him.
All right, so in his 6-4 loss, the Tampa Bay Rays on Tuesday night beat the New York Yankees. The Yankees whiffed 17 times, becoming the first team in American League history who batters hit that mark in back-to-back games. So starter Ian Seymour of the Rays, one of the 5 Rays to take the mound, struck out 12 batters in 5 1/3 innings. He's the first pitcher on any team that had that many Ks through 5 innings against the Yankees in the last 50 years. So are the Yankees just in a slump, or are they going home early in October? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it on terms of them going home early in October. It's early. And it's not early, it's the middle of the season, but it's a small sample size. The Cubs fell off a cliff for a month. They could not function as a baseball team in May. They were atrocious. They found water has found its level.
The storm's gone. Let's say that.
They've done that. Even though I don't think it's sustainable because their pitching's all hurt. But it's just every team has a lull. The Cubs in 16 are my barometer for that. They were a freight train. They were the best team in the league. They won the World Series. They were awesome. And they had a 3-week span before the All-Star break where they just fell flat. And they had a hard time winning. And it's just part of it in a long season. So the Yankees have some talent. They'll be fine, but they're playing terrible right now.
All right, so Pringles is releasing limited edition hot dog buns inspired by 3 of its chip. Yeah. 3 hot dog buns inspired by 3 chip flavors. So the buns are going to come in sour cream and onion, barbecue, and honey mustard. They'll be available through 2 online drops with a purchase of basically $7 for a 3-pack. So they're going to come in the container, by the way. It's only 1 bun. They're going to come in the individual containers. So flavored Pringles hot dog bun, sour cream, onion, barbecue, and honey mustard. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it.
Oh, wow. All right, here we go.
We
need some claps.
The barbecue bread sounds weird to me.
Sounds very weird.
Although you put barbecue sauce on bread all the time. I'm intrigued by the sour cream and onion because I love sour cream and onion Pringles so much. And I just feel like putting a salty dog on that is going to be okay.
Right.
honey mustard.
That's a little too much for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm willing to try it. It's flavored bread. It's not. I promise you, it's not terrible. I promise it's not terrible.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting it's better than just a plain hot dog bun, but I feel like it's probably not terrible.
But out of the three, you're going sour cream and onion.
I'm the most curious about that. If I was playing it safe, I would go with barbecue. If you were asking me to pick their best seller, I would go with barbecue because that's just a natural thing, and like people put barbecue sauce on it anyway.
Barbecue.
But if you're asking me to try one, I'm gonna try sour cream and onion out of curiosity.
Okay. And is there any type of way you're gonna dress that one up, or you're just gonna
with the flavored bun? I'm gonna be a little bit hesitant to put ketchup on sour cream and onion.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a little hesitant to do that. I know some people say you can't put ketchup on a hot dog. What? I do. Oh,
Who
that's
says
a
that?
big,
People say
big
that?
thing.
Oh, they're gonna hate me then.
Don't
huh?
go to Chicago.
Oh, they're gonna hate me, huh?
You'll get kicked out. Run out of town on,
really?
on a red line. Yeah, you can't put ketchup on a hot dog.
Wow. They're gonna hate me.
Yeah, so they can't do that. But yeah, I would go with that. Is that it? That's all we got?
That's all we got. That's it.
All right. Fun show today. Listen, if you're an LSU baseball fan and you know that the MLB draft is coming up this weekend, it's a big, big time for LSU baseball. I took the first 30 minutes of the show today and I went through almost LSU's entire class. There were about 4 guys in the end that I didn't get to, but almost the entire class and talked about their situation. There's some guys LSU has very, very little chance to get. There's some fringe guys that they would love to get, and then there are some sections of like right-handed pitchers and infielders where they'd like to get half or so. And I went through the whole thing. You can read about that at louisianasports.net on the homepage. There's a preview that's up there. The draft's this weekend, so you got some time to go, and you can look it up and look through Google and see all that. And then you can listen to it on demand at Hunt on LSU as well, and of course on YouTube. Check that out. If you missed any of the other show, it's Hunt Palmer Show on demand wherever you find your sound. That's it for us. We're back tomorrow. Musso's about to drive you home. Have a good Wednesday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Want to get out of here, but first we got to tell you about our friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Check out the website, FabryChevrolet.com. That's F-A-B-R-E. FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is there. The website is so functional. If you're looking for a new vehicle, because that's what you're looking to drive, you want that nice, fresh, brand new vehicle, they've got them. And you can search new vehicles, and you can search by make and model. If you know what you're looking for, you can search by SUV, you can search by sedan, certainly search by truck as well. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, they've got them there as well. You're looking for mileage? Gotcha. They're looking for price. You can filter it with the high price and the low price that you're willing to go to. It just makes life really easy online to check that out at FabryChevrolet.com. And then I always invite you to head up to Highway 61 in St. Francisville and deal with their incredible staff for an awesome buying experience. The entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com. And go check them out on Highway 61. It's Fabry Chevrolet.